What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic coming to you with another edition of NFL DraftKings Reignmakers. Hit that like button for me. That is all that I ask here on this video. Also, something that I'm going to help you out with. You can sign up at the link below. You simply click on that link, get yourself a free starter pack. You get to start with whatever players you want. As you look at this main screen, you have some options before you here for week 2. It's going to be a wild one. Very, very excited, but coming off of UFC, PGA, it is really all about the NFL here right now. And I've got a couple of booster packs that I'm going to be opening here together with you today. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to get ourselves into the DraftKings Reignmakers Streets here, talk through a couple of my favorite targets here as we approach lock here on Sunday for the lovely. What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic coming to you with another edition of DraftKings NFL Reignmakers. Hit that like button for me. It's all that I ask. And then, well, you sign up below at the pack. What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here. Why am I just screwing this up? 2:30. All right, 2:30. What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic coming to you with another edition of DraftKings NFL Reignmakers. Hit that like button for me. Also, check out the free pack that you have below. It is fantastic stuff because, well, DraftKings, they have tons of money available for you here in the Reignmaker Streets. I would be taking advantage of that every single day if you could. What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here. What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic coming to you with another What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here coming to What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic coming to you with another edition of DraftKings NFL Reignmakers. Hit that like button for me. It is all that I ask here on this program. Also, if you want to, and you probably want to, sign up for that free pack down below so you can get in the game right now over at DraftKings Reignmakers, where they combine NFTs, they combine daily fantasy, all the things you know and love, and you put them together. You have this great opportunity to go fire up here in the PGA Tour Streets. Yeah, that's still going on. UFC, that was a disaster. And then we got the NFL Street. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time, friends, for NFL Sunday here for week 2. Yeah, let's just kind of dive right into it. I have a couple of packs that I wanted to open here on stream, see if we get anything really fun. Got a couple of these booster packs, and, well, maybe we can get a little run good here in the morning. That would be awfully nice. Look at this. Starting off with a rare. Oh, let's go. Marvin Mims, he was disappointing in week 1. CD Lamb, that's a fantastic one, especially because he doesn't carry that superstar tag. And Isaiah Simmons, a defensive player. That's a bummer, but it's okay. Let's go to one more pack here. And basically, you get these booster packs, and they build out your portfolio, allows you to play in some contests that maybe you otherwise wouldn't be. Foster Moreau and Elijah Moore. Hey, that's a decent enough one. I'm all right with the Elijah Moore piece. We're going to jump to the contest, and we're going to talk through a couple of my favorite targets here for week 2. Obviously, you want to be reacting to news. There was a lot of news to react to from last Sunday. You're going to want to do the same thing this Sunday. Aaron Jones, hamstring, didn't end up practicing. He's sitting out here for Sunday. You also have another addition of Christian Watson being out for them after Romeo Doubs pretty much emerged as perfectly healthy against Chicago, was the go-to receiver there for Jordan Love. Yeah, Musgrove as well. But you want to be absolutely sitting by your computer. You're already watching it over on the YouTube TV now. Everybody's got their Sunday ticket. As you're watching the games live, just have in the back of your mind that you can react to news over here and purchase some cards that might be a little bit too cheap on the Reignmaker Streets. So with that in mind, obviously Joshua Kelly going to be a big part of DFS this week with Austin Eckler out as well. But I still think there's a number of spots. We're going to jump over to the core contest here, and I'm happy because I started my collection. Of course, they have to check my location quick. That's an important part. Got to make sure you're in the right places, friends. There you go. All right. We are going to jump to, well, I guess I built out a couple of these already, but a couple of my favorite targets that we've got here for this week. I'm going to clear this out because, again, this is a decent enough lineup that we have to start off. But quarterback wise, I'm very happy that I started with Lamar Jackson, but I'm going to be piecing together another lineup here as I start to build out my 2023 collection. Going to be a different subset 2022, the cards from last season. They still have utility, don't you worry. And now you can craft and burn, do a lot of really cool things with those. I can cover those on another future program here, but really want to get you some good information about how you can go about building a solid DraftKings Reignmakers lineup for week 2. We have a quarterback, we have a running back, we have a wide receiver, tight end, and a flex. So you can play up to 3 wide receivers, you can play 2 tight ends, you can play 2 running backs. Lots of ways to build out lineups here with just the 5 players. Only 5 players required to build out a DraftKings Reignmakers lineup. That makes it really, really fun. But starting, of course, with Lamar Jackson going up against Cincinnati. He is kind of my go-to quarterback here and somebody that I want to be getting more and more shares of as the year goes along. Lamar Jackson, just overall disappointing. Him, Joe Burrow. And of course, they're playing each other here in week 2. But Lamar Jackson, we still saw him be competent right off the bat. 17 for 22. They played Houston. This is the one major thing that we got to be paying attention to today. He lost 2 fumbles, but basically he's got to be involved in this running game a little bit more. Huge bummer. J.K. Dobbins gone. And it's so hard to know what to do with some of these other pieces. If you look at some of the prices for this Baltimore, where is it at here? It's in the early windows. So let me find it here quick. There it is. It's just sitting dead center there. But you basically saw Justice Hill jump into the lead back role. He's going pretty expensive, I believe, for a team that I think will be rotating backs a little bit more here in this spot. If I had to be picking anybody here, I'd be going towards Gus Edwards and trying to be making him a thing earlier rather than later. But Hill got the goal line work. Hill was the guy carrying the ball a lot in the absence of J.K. Dobbins in that entire second half. So it's going to be something I'm paying very close attention to. Find it pretty interesting to see Joe Mixon in that same game environment going at $6.79 in the core. He got all of the workload in all of the land. You obviously don't have Samaje Perine this season as he is in Denver. That creates an opportunity where Chris Evans has to be mixed in the passing game, but he's got a Q tag next to him here for today. Chase Brown, I believe he was inactive last game or just wasn't involved in any way. Because, Travion Williams was the other active running back. So a healthy scratch there. We'll see how this running back core ends up working out as we go along. But Joe Mixon, definitely going to be more of the target there. As far as pass catchers go, I have an Odell Beckham that came within my starter set and decent enough, I suppose. But I don't know if he's going to carry the kind of ceiling that we want. That's going to be where you have, I picked up a lot of Isaiah Likely there in that event there. Zay Flowers. He was the most targeted receiver by far week 1. 50% target share there for the Baltimore Ravens. Almost said Orioles. I'm going to be catching myself from time to time here, but think he makes a nice pairing. Might just be playing Lamar Jackson unstacked. Not that we're completely immune to those kind of things or that we aren't aware that that is a possibility. But as you're building out your core cards, pretty easy for him to be paired with some wide receivers that are just a little bit cheaper. Bateman sitting at 98 cents on the core. Duvernay, you're not going to play him. Don't do that. Don't do that. T. Higgins as a run back option in a spot that you got to be expecting him to bounce back. And then Jamar Chase, the superstar spot next to him. Obviously, you can play up to 1 superstar in any of these lineups. So you can just play 1 in that. He's a little bit more expensive, though, because he still carries that super ceiling we know he's capable of. And T. Higgins, despite 7 targets, got goose-egged. Pretty wild to see him up there in terms of air yards. Just a goose egg. It was the wildest thing ever. So T. Higgins, somebody that I think pairs nicely with Lamar Jackson. But let's go to the running back spot here. And a couple of running backs that I've got my eye on. Talked about it earlier. Aaron Jones will not be playing here. A.J. Dillon, his price has gone up, up, up. If you're playing for 1 week specifically, that's always the question. Like if I'm building out for this week, A.J. Dillon, like from a DFS perspective, point per dollar would be fantastic. But you can play any running back you want. I'm more worried about raw points And then he has very little utility going forward unless that hamstring continues to hamper Aaron Jones. Sure, he could go out against Atlanta, show out, and cut back into the Aaron Jones timeshare. It's not something that we're immune to here in the past, but don't feel fantastic about making him a popular piece. And then Joshua Kelly, same exact situation there for him, where he's playing Tennessee, but they are an extreme pass funnel, excuse me. Did exactly that against Jamal Williams and the Saints last week. Definitely going to be targeting Kelly in DFS, but in terms of Rainmakers, I don't have to be looking that direction. And that, my friends, is where if you want to go to a cheap running back for this week, who's $1, right around $1 more than them, Kenneth Walker III. He doesn't carry a star tag next to him. He's going up against Detroit, and I expect this game to go berserk. Last season, it went berserk in the Dome here in Detroit. I think Jared Goff going to be somebody that is not going under the radar. Amon-Ra St. Brown, not under the radar. And that entire game environment is fantastic. But what if DK Metcalf? What if you're looking at on the other side, Amon-Ra St. Brown? What if they're getting tackled at the 1 or at the 5? Or they're getting goal line work? Who's getting the goal line work? Now, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, you kind of don't know what you're getting there, but I'm pretty positive we know it's going to be Kenneth Walker III on the Seattle situation, or on the Seattle side. So if I'm looking for one piece from this game, I think Kenneth Walker III makes a fantastic option there at less than $6 in the core. And for a rare at $30, he's going to be getting a ton of this work. Zach Charbonnet really not getting mixed out. That's a weird thing to say. Really didn't get mixed in at all. You saw DJ Dallas in on some passing downs, but Kenneth Walker III, somebody that I'm going to definitely be firing up across the board here in DraftKings, DFS, Reignmakers, all of the things. Last one, raw points. They matter the most. And this is a contrarian piece because he carries the star. And obviously you won't be able to use a wide receiver with like a super ceiling in the star. But Saquon Barkley against the Arizona Cardinals, I think this is as good of a spot as you could possibly ask for. $7.80. He is one of the cheaper stars that you're going to run into on the board here. And obviously, I already have Lamar Jackson, so I wouldn't be able to play these two in the same lineup. James Conner, I really like getting to it. The cheaper tag there. He's on a terrible football team, but he's still playing infinity% of the snaps, so that's cool. Lamar Jackson wouldn't be able to combine him, but I want your eye on Saquon Barkley at his current prices because compared to some of the other guys that exist on the board, Derrick Henry, of course, $7.98. I prefer Saquon by a lot, despite the difference in total there for this day. And I also get a late swap possibility where if I need to purchase a card in the afternoon window and I have Saquon and I'm trying to mix things around to get to somebody here, I don't think that there's any wide receiver in this afternoon window. Yep. No wide receiver in this afternoon window who carries a superstar tag. So again, gives you a contrarian type build. If you need to be swapping out of something you think is going to be extremely popular, you can. I think San Francisco, we obviously have McCaffrey at the running back spot. Saquon versus McCaffrey might seem far-fetched based on what we saw week 1, but something that, if it's 22 you're projecting Christian McCaffrey for and 19 like I'm projecting Saquon for. I'm a little bit bullish on Saquon this week, if you can't tell. There aren't that many outcomes where he's going to win more than 50% of the time heads up against him, but we're talking about a $14 disparity in the marketplace. So little shoulder shrug action. Shout out The Last Dance. That was a real doc. All right, let's go to the wide receiver position here because this is where I think, by the way, I'm just going to plug in one of my guys here. Got to click out of this football game. Travis Etienne against Kansas City. Pretty happy to be playing him. Nice to be getting him in a starter pack as well. Great stuff. Again, these are the kind of players, elite players that you can get in a starter pack. Was it great to see Tank Bigsby out there? When we're talking about the last couple minutes of that game, and some final drives there to protect Trevor Lawrence. No, not ideal. Travis Etienne is special too. He confirmed matters at football. Clemson, they haven't been so good. They also got rid of their really good quarterback. He's at Oregon State now. Anyway, cool. Let's talk wide receivers here. And you have some options. I have a CeeDee Lamb that I got in that booster pack that we just opened. That makes me happy. $7.25 card to be picking up there right from the get-go. I love that. But I already have Lamar Jackson, and that's where Keenan Allen Makes a ton of sense to me as well. It's nice when your starter pack kind of fills out a narrative here. We've got the highest total, Kansas City, Jacksonville. And then I think we've got the best passing game opportunity for any team on the board. It didn't look good in week one, did not look good at all. Keenan Allen, he's going to be all right, friends. He's going to be just fine. Still put up 14.2 there in that Miami game. But as I'm looking at things, Keenan Allen going to be a piece that you really, 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 really want to have along for the ride as long as that hamstring is good. Mike Williams, another guy that you could double with some Justin Herbert. One of the bummers about Justin Herbert are he's got the star thing next to him, but you can't ask for a better spot. Tennessee gave up the most passing yards in the NFL last season, that being 2022. This season, not off to the best start either. So New Orleans was able to do whatever they wanted to through the air. Going to continue to be stout against the run. So Keenan Allen, the entire Chargers passing game, that's not going overlooked by any means. Of course, we'll continue talking about them here as we jump down to Christian Kirk, which I think is another nice piece to bounce back. Again, that entire game environment. I'm running Travis Etienne here. It's never a bad thing to run Lamar Jackson out by himself. I think that makes a ton of sense. But Christian Kirk, God, it was gross to watch Calvin Ridley just make Christian Kirk irrelevant there. But Kansas City, teams make adjustments in based on what they saw in week one. They saw Calvin Ridley be a beast is what they saw. And Christian Kirk, I prefer him over Zay Jones still. I saw that super ceiling a number of times last season. And now you get a Kansas City game that should shoot out, that gets Travis Kelce back, which I think is great for the game environment as a whole. Why wouldn't we be looking at a little bit of Christian Kirk in our lives? And yeah, the Kansas City side of things, if you're looking at a tight end here, hard to beat out a Travis Kelce in any capacity. Going for $18, and he doesn't carry the superstar spot. So if you're trying to build out the rest of that football game, you kind of want to get Travis Kelce in your life, because the way that it achieves that 65 point total that you're looking for, excuse me, is by Travis Kelce coming back, catching 8 for 115 and 2 tutties or something beautiful like that. So make sure you get yourself some exposure to him. One of the more valuable pieces in this game, because the wide receiver tight end spot, you can play whoever you want, but it's not requiring you to play a gross tight end like it would in regular DFS. So want to be on the lookout for that, friends. Want to be on the lookout for that. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to sign up for your starter pack below as we start rounding out some more wide receivers to be adding to the portfolio. And considering there's flexes down here and everything else, I'm going to put in a couple of guys from that starter pack. I don't mind the Odell Beckham, but just for correlation, but I do mind him in terms of I do not think he has the ability to go off in the way that we need to achieve the super ceiling of a game. Look at that. Kadarius Toney in play action. Oh, yeah, that went well for me. It went really, really well, Eric. But Brian Robinson, this might be one of my larger stands that I have here in DFS for the day, and I think he makes this great speculative ad. You saw a fumble by Antonio Gibson, and I'm not saying that this is a Bill Belichick situation with Ron Rivera. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Eric Bieniemy, new offensive coordinator, but Gibson didn't end up on the field a whole hell of a lot there after that happened. And Brian Robinson saw some passing game work, saw all of the running back touches, basically. You saw 3, I believe, for Antonio Gibson. Don't know why I just say stuff like that. I can easily look it up. Yep, 3 attempts for all of 9 yards there. Brian Robinson looked electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Look at it. $25 there for the rush. I'm still buying some Washington stock. Still think Washington's a team you want to have exposure to. Denver, this is a gross total. You saw a 17-16 football game. That Denver defense still looks legit. But if you're going to be a running back who sees 80% of the touches, which might be a little aggressive, but Antonio Gibson, I don't know what to make of those the one fumble that he had and just ineffectiveness against a bad team like Arizona. Maybe we see Brian Robinson step into a much, much larger role. So that's going to be something I'm paying attention to. Of course, you can play whomever you want. So you want to be stacking up some of the best players in terms of just fantasy point outings. And Brandon Ayuk went up to $13.99. Okay, people. Okay, let's pump the brakes. Tutu Atwell. These guys are going for a lot of money here relative to their chances of success going forward. Sounds like week 5, Cooper Kupp is trying to target to come back here. That makes it tough for me to look at I mean, you don't even have Nakua as a card within the game, which I find to be interesting. But Tutu Atwell last season had some hope from time to time. I had a Rainmakers card of him once upon a time. Those were good times, except for they had zero utility. Um, I feel as though Tutu Atwell is going to be a piece that continues to be intertwined into this offense, even with Cooper Kupp getting back. I'm not sure what Nakua's role looks like as an outside receiver. You can put Kupp in the slot, obviously, too, and create mismatches all over the place. But I feel like those cards are just a little bit overvalued in the marketplace. Now, for this specific week against San Francisco in a dome, probably going to be behind, probably going to be passing a little bit more, maybe a little bit more at passing expectation. But overall, I'm just going to be getting myself to some of these higher raw projected players. And a couple of those that just make it super easy for us to look at. We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, $19.99. Oh, why is this happening? Oop. We just went completely blank. What in the world? Hello, everybody. Let me just say hi to you super quick as we finish this up. Oh, there it's starting to come back. Hi, friends. We're having fun. All right. Going back to NFL Reignmakers. Great stuff. Again, get that pack down below. If you've enjoyed this information, hit that like button. All of those things. Nothing like a 25-minute video talking you through all the ins and outs of it. And again, you're trying to put together the best team that you possibly can every single week. And a lot of that is simply having some of the best cards, being able to get access to some of the packs. But you want to have some contrarian pieces mixed in as well. And that's where Buffalo, you have Stephon Diggs as a piece who doesn't carry the superstar tag. Last season, he was the most popular piece within this game. I should pull it up here now because it's back. Good job, Eric. Stephon Diggs, $26.69. That's an expensive piece of chalk that's going to be existing on this slate, but I think he's worth every single penny of that one. Penny makes you think of Lost, not Penny's boat. Looking at the Cincinnati side, of course, Jamar Chase. Think that he's a great superstar ad. And then let's finish it out with this one because I think that I think it's a pretty fun spot to target just in terms of what I think the profile could be for them going forward this season. We've got at the quarterback spot, Anthony Richardson, $14.95. This guy, he's going to be fun. And he's going to put up fantasy points because he rushes the football. We saw 10 attempts in week 1 going up against Houston here. I think he's a great ad for somebody who's not a superstar, and you don't necessarily need to stack him with something. I want to stack a lot of the guys that I'm putting together in Reignmakers and in regular DFS, but I still think it's an awesome opportunity to be early to the party on Anthony Richardson, sitting sub $15. Join the movement, friends. Join it. Let's go. It's time. Jump on the bandwagon for one, Anthony Richardson. It is time, baby. Let's party. I think that's pretty much all that I got for you. There's no like insane situation that you kind of need to be apprised of going in. Mark Andrews going to play. You got Travis Kelce back here as well. So nice to see a couple of tight ends add some utility. And then you can, of course, set it by filtering. There we go. I want to go by... Well, I guess fantasy point per game is the only one you're going to filter this section by. You can, of course, go to the players tab then too and group it by week 2. And we can look at some of the more expensive players that exist here. Game set. We're looking at the main slate. And we're able to group it this way. I like how Dallas defense is going to like be stacked up in this. You can only play one though in this. Not in Showdown. Showdown, it's nice to have 4 pieces of it. But McCaffrey, Diggs, St. Brown, Calvin Ridley. Talk through a lot of these situations for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And yes, Tony Pollard, that's a really, really low total, but not because of them. It's because the Jets have Zach Wilson. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch. Let's go get ourselves into the Rainmaker streets, friends. Let's build out our lineups together. It'll be great times. Don't forget to get that free pack down in the link below. I'm ready to rock. Hopefully you are too. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the Reignmakers NFL Reignmaker Street this week for week 2.